Everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Storytime with Ankita, and today I'm going to read chapter 5 in the story Keeper of this Lost Cities. But first, before starting, I want to say a word that is Happy New Year. Hope you are enjoying your new year. Me too. Please comment me down below how you enjoying your new year. I will definitely reply you. So let's get started. So chapter 5. There you are, her mom shouted. Her panicked thoughts splattered their way into Sophie's brain as she entered their cluttered living room and found her mom still on the phone. Yes, she's home now, she said into the receiver. Don't worry, I will be having a long talk with her. Sophie's heart jolted. Her mum hung up the phone and reeled down. Her wide green eyes glittered dragons. That's what Mr. Swaney calling because he didn't find you at the museum. What were you thinking? Wandering off like that? Especially now, with the fires making everyone nervous. Do you have any idea how worried I was? And Mr. Swaney was about to call the police. I'm, I'm sorry, Sophie scammed, struggling to find a convincing lie. She was a horrible liar. I got scared. Her mum's anger faded to concern, and she tugged nervously at her curly brown hair. Scared of what? Did something happen? I saw this guy, Sophie said, realizing the best lies were based on truth. He had the article about me. He started asking all these questions and it was freaking me out, so I ran away from him. And then I was scared to go back, so I walked to the trolley and took the train home. Why didn't you get a teacher or a museum guard or call the police? I guess I didn't think of that. I just wanted to get away. She tugged out an eyelash. Ugh, stop doing that, her mother complained. Closing her eyes and shaking her head, she took a deep breath. Well, I guess the important thing is that you are okay. But if anything like that ever happens again, I want you to run straight to an adult. Do you understand? Sophie nodded. Good. She rubbed the wrinkle between her brows that always appeared when she was stressed. This is exactly why your father and I were upset about that article. It's not safe to stand out in this world. You never know what some hero is going to try to do once they know where they can find you. No one understood the dangers of standing away out better than Sophie. She had been traced and tormented and bullied her whole life. I'm fine, Mom, okay? Her mother seemed to defend as she let out a heavy sigh. I know, I just wish. Her voice trailed off, and Sophie closed her eyes, hoping she could close out the rest of the thought. You could be normal, like your sister. The words slipped a tiny pin into Sophie's heart. It was the hardest part of being a telepath, hearing what her parents really thought. She knew her mom didn't mean it, but that didn't make it any less painful to hear. Her mom wrapped her in a tight hug. Just be careful, Sophie. I don't know what I did do if anything happens to you. I know, Mom. I will try. Her dad came through the front door and her mom let her go. Welcome home, honey. I will have dinner ready in 10, she called to him. And, Amy, she added, raising her voice so it would be here upstairs. Time to come down. Sophie followed her mom into the kitchen, feeling unease, a twist in her stomach, worn Nilosium, pastel walls, tucking nectars. It all seemed so ordinary after the glittering cities Fitz had shown her. Could she really belong there? Or did she really belong here? He's Sophie's dad kissed her on the cheek as he set his shabby beefcase on the kitchen table. And how is my soybean? He asked with a wink. Sophie scowled. He had been calling her that since she was a baby. Apparently, she had a hard time pronouncing her name, and she did asked him 100 times, no, thousands of times to stop. He refused to listen. Her mom took the lid off one of the steaming pots, and the smell of garlic and crumb filled the room. She handed Sophie the silverware. It's your turn to set the table. Yeah, soybean, get chuckin', her sister said as she scooted into the room and plopped into her usual chair. At 9 years old, Amy already had the annoying little sister role mastered. Amy was Sophie's opposite in every way. From her curly brown hair and green eyes to her lower and average grades and incredible popularity. No one understood how she and Sophie could be sisters, especially Sophie. Even their parents wondered about it. In their thoughts, the silverware slipped through Sophie's fingers. What's wrong? Her mom asked. Nothing. She sank into her chair. What could How could she and Amy be sisters? Amy was definitely human. Her parents were too. She did heard enough of their thoughts to know they weren't hiding any secret powers. And if she was an elf? The room spun and she lowered her head into her hands. She tried to concentrate on breathing. Inhale, exhale, and repeat. You okay, Soybean? Her father asked. For once, she didn't care about the nickname. I feel kind of dizzy. Must be from the smoke, she added, trying not to make them suspicious. Can I go lay down? I think you should eat something first, her mother said, and Sophie knew she couldn't argue. Skipping dinner was definitely not acting normal, especially on a Fatigued night. It was her favorite, but the rich sauce did not help her sudden nausea. Neither did the way her family stared at her. Sophie ignored their mental concern, trying not to tug on her eyelashes as she chewed each bite and forced herself to swallow. Finally, her dad sat his fork down, an official end of dinner in the Foster house, and Sophie jumped to her feet. Thanks, Mom. That was great. I'm going to do some homework. She left the kitchen and sprinted up the stairs before they could say anything to stop her. She raced to her room and closed her door, scrambled to her bed. A loud hiss scattered the silence. "Sorry, Marty," she whispered, her heart pounding in her ears. Her fluffy gray cat glared at her for sitting on its tail, but she reached out her hand and he sunk toward her. Settling into her lap, Marty's gentle peering filled the silence and gave her courage to comfort the realization she'd made downstairs. Her family couldn't be her family. She took a deep breath and let the reality settle in. The strange thing was, in some ways, it made sense. It explained why she was felt so out of place around them. The slender blonde among her chubby brunette family. Still, they were the only family she knew, and if they weren't her family, who was? Panic closed off her chest and her lungs screamed for air, but another pain throbbed deeper, like something inside had ripped apart. Her eyes burned with tears, but she blinked them back. It had to be a mistake. How could she not to be relayed to her family? She'd been hearing their thoughts of 7 years. How would she not know that? And even if it was somehow possible, not being related to them didn't change anything, did it? Lots of kids were adopted and they were part of their new family. Her mom poked her head through the door. "I brought you some E.L. fudges," she handed Sophie a Sophie a plate full of her favorite cookies and a glass of milk, then responded, "You look pale, Sophie. Are you getting sick?" She pressed her palm against Sophie's forehead. "You didn't have a fever." "I'm fine, just tired." She reached for a cookie but froze. Then she noticed its tiny elf face. "I need to go to bed." Her mom left her alone so she could change. She strummed through her routine and screwed under the blankets, wrapping them as tight as they would go. Marty took his place on her pillow next to her head. "Sweet dreams, soybean," her dad said, kissing her on the forehead. Her parents always tucked her in, another foster family tradition. "Night, Dad." She tried to smile, but she could barely breathe. Her mom kissed Sophie's cheek. "Do you have Ella?" "Yep." She showed her the blue elephant tucked under her arm. She was probably too old to still have a stuffed animal, but she couldn't sleep without Ella. Tonight she needed her more than ever. Her mom turned off the light, and the darkness gave Sophie the courage she needed. I ask you guys something? Can I ask you guys something?" "Sure," her dad said. "What's up?" He hugged Ella tightly. "Was I adopted?" Her mother laughed as her mind flashed into 12 hours of very painful labor she'd endured. "No, Sophie, why would you ask that?" "Could I have been switched at birth?" "No, of course not." "Are you sure?" "Yes, I think I would know my own daughter." There isn't a doubt in her mom's mind. "What's this all about?" "Nothing. I was just wondering." Her dad laughed. "Sorry, Soyban. We are your parents whether you like it or not." "Okay," she agreed. but she wasn't so sure anymore. Chapter finished. So, hope you liked today's chapter. Happy New Year once again. And if you are new to my channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So, that's all for today's video. And don't forget to comment me the answer I have said in the question. I will be shout out their names who have answered. So, that's all for today's video. Bye bye.